Okay, let us start our today's topic. So yesterday we had started this prokaryotic cell. So yesterday we discussed about the shape and size of prokaryotic cells. Now you know prokaryotic cells they vary in shape. Some of the prokaryotes they are rod shaped, some of the prokaryotes are spherical, some are comma shaped, some are helical in shape, and the size of prokaryotic cell also varies. Some are very extremely small, some are larger. The smallest known prokaryotic cell is mycoplasma, having an average diameter of 0.1 to 0.25 microns. The largest prokaryotic cell is Theomargarita namibiensis, having 750 microns diameter. And the average size of the prokaryotic, average diameter of the prokaryotic cell is in between 0.5 to 10 microns. When we compare it with an eukaryotic cell, we find that eukaryotic cells they are very large. The average size of an eukaryotic cell is 10 to 100 microns, right? So as compared to eukaryotic cells, these prokaryotic cells are very small. Now today we will discuss the structure of prokaryotic cell, right? A prokaryotic cell is externally covered by a cell envelope. A prokaryotic cell is externally covered by cell envelope. This cell envelope it is formed of different layers. The outermost layer of this cell envelope is known as glycocalyx. Glycocalyx. It is the outermost layer of the cell envelope. Inner to this glycocalyx, there is a cell wall, and inner to cell wall, there is a cell membrane. So these three different layers, they cover the prokaryotic cells externally, and they are collectively known as cell envelope. So we now know cell envelope it is formed of outermost layer known as glycocalyx, cell wall, and cell membrane. So first we will have a look at what is glycocalyx. Glyco means sugars. Glyco means sugars. Glyco pertains to sugars. And calyx means the covering. So this external most covering of the prokaryotic cell, it is formed of some sugars. It is formed of some sugars. That is why it is known as glycocalyx. This glycocalyx, it exists in two forms or three forms. It may be in the form of a slime layer, or it may be in the form of a capsule. Glycocalyx, it exists first in two layers, as a slime layer or as a capsule, right? Then inner to this, there may be there is another layer known as S layer. So glycocalyx in some prokaryotes is in the form of a slime layer. When it is in the form of slime layer, it is formed of lipopolysaccharides. It is formed of lipopolysaccharides. What are lipopolysaccharides? Lipids plus polysaccharides, right? So glycocalyx, its outermost covering may be in the form of slime layer. If slime layer is present, then capsule is not present. If capsule is present, then slime layer is not present. So in some prokaryotes, when it is in the form of slime layer, that slime layer is formed of lipopolysaccharides, LPS, lipopolysaccharides, right? In some prokaryotes, instead of slime layer, there may be a capsule. This capsule, it is formed of glycoproteins. Glycoproteins. It is formed of glycoproteins, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the outermost part of this glycocalyx, it can be either slime layer or capsule. Both are not together, right? So in some prokaryotes, it is slime layer. When it is in the form of a thin slime layer, this slime layer is unorganized layer. It is loose network. It can be easily removed. When it is in the form of slime layer, this slime layer is formed of lipopolysaccharides, lipids and polysaccharides, right? In the absence of slime layer, there may be a capsule. Capsule is a bit thicker than slime layer, and capsule is more organized. This capsule, it is formed of glycoproteins then. It is formed of sugars and proteins, right? Then inner to this slime layer or capsule, there is another layer, which is much more organized layer. This is more organized layer. This more organized layer, which is known as S layer, it is formed of proteins plus glycoproteins. Plus glycoproteins. So it is formed of proteins and glycoproteins, right? This S layer, it is usually attached to cell wall. S layer is usually attached. It is joined with cell wall, right? So glycocalyx, it is the outermost covering of a prokaryotic cell. It may be in the form of slime layer or in the form of capsule. When there is slime layer, this slime layer is a loosely organized layer. It is not a highly organized layer. It can be easily removed. This slime layer, it is formed of lipids and polysaccharides, LPS, lipopolysaccharides, right? Or in some prokaryotes, instead of slime layer, there may be a capsule. This capsule is thicker than the slime layer and it is more organized. When capsule is present, that capsule is formed of glycoproteins. That means it is formed of sugars and oligosaccharide chains joined to proteins, right? And in addition to this slime layer and capsule, in addition to this slime layer or capsule, there is another layer definitely found. This layer is mostly found in archaea. It is mostly found in archaea and most of the bacteria. This layer is mostly found in archaea. It is found in almost in all archaea and most of bacteria, S layer. This S layer is much more organized layer. It is formed of proteins and glycoproteins. And these proteins and glycoproteins, they remain embedded in the cell wall or they remain attached to lipids of the cell membrane, right? So they may remain attached to cell wall or they may remain attached to lipids of cell membrane. So they form the external most covering of the prokaryotic cell. Glycocalyx forms the external most covering of the prokaryotic cell. It protects the prokaryotic cell from the action of enzymes, from the action of acids, from the action of other harmful environmental chemicals, right? And it also protects the cell from desiccation, and it also provides attachment to the prokaryotic cells. So it acts as an adhesive surface by which the cell is attached to either it is host tissue or to any other substrate, right? So it provides cell surface attachment. So what is the function of this glycocalyx? It protects the cell from desiccation. It can hold the water. It can keep the cell moist, right? Number second, it protects the cell from harmful chemicals. Number third, it protects the cell. It provides attachment to the cell. It helps the cell to get adhered to the substratum, or it helps the cell to get attached to the host cells, right? So this is the outermost covering of the prokaryotic cell known as glycocalyx. So glycocalyx, it may be either in the form of slime layer or in the form of capsule. Whether it is slime layer or capsule, then it is joined with another layer that is known as S layer. And S layer is attached to cell wall and cell membrane, right? So that is all about glycocalyx. Now inside glycocalyx, we have got a cell wall in prokaryotic cells. Now there is a cell wall. Of what material this cell wall of prokaryotes is formed of? Cell wall of prokaryotes, it is formed of cell wall of plants, that is formed of cellulose mostly, right? What about the cell wall of prokaryotes? Cell wall of prokaryotes, it is formed of peptidoglycan. It is formed of peptidoglycan. So peptido refers to short peptides. Peptido refers to short peptides. And glycans refers to sugars. Right? So it is mostly formed of sugars and short peptides. That is why we call it as peptidoglycan, right? So in the cell wall of prokaryotes, there is not cellulose. Cellulose is not present, right? Cell wall of prokaryotes, it is formed of a substance known as peptidoglycan. So this peptidoglycan, it is formed of polysaccharide chains joined to each other by short peptides. So there are polysaccharide chains. There are polysaccharide chains. And these polysaccharide chains, they are linked by short peptides. Short peptides. So first we will see which polysaccharides are there. These polysaccharides of peptidoglycan, they are formed from modified sugars. There is a modified sugar in this polysaccharide chain. That is known as NAG. That is known as NAG. And then there is another modified sugar that is known as NAM. So NAG stands for N-acetyl glucosamine. Glucosamine. And NAM stands for N-acetyl muramic acid. Muramic acid. So both of them are modified sugars. We call them as amino sugars. We call them as amino sugars, or we call them as modified sugars. So these are the basic units of the polysaccharide chain, which are found in the cell wall of prokaryotes, right? So NAG, suppose we will represent NAG by this circle and NAM by this circle. So these are modified sugars, right? So they join each other. They join each other and they form long polysaccharide chain. They form long polysaccharide chains. Do you follow me what I am saying? So in these peptidoglycans, they are basically formed of polysaccharide chains linked by short peptides, right? So polysaccharide chains, they are formed of their basic units. NAG, N-acetyl glucosamine, and NAM, N-acetyl muramic acid. So N-acetyl glucosamine joins with N-acetyl muramic acid, then many more join together and they form a long polysaccharide chain. Then many polysaccharide chains are formed, then they are linked. I will show it that in the diagram. I will show it in the diagram. How peptidoglycans are formed, I will show it in the diagram. So suppose this is NAG, this is NAM. Another NAG, another NAM. Another NAG, another NAM. Another NAG, another NAM. So these are modified sugars. They are joining. They are amino sugars. They are joining with each other. So when these sugars join in the form of long chains, what do they form? When these sugars join in the form of a long chain, what do they form? They form a polysaccharide chain. So this is one polysaccharide chain. Poly means many, saccharide means sugars. This is one polysaccharide chain, right? Poly means many and saccharide means sugars. So there are many sugars. This is a NAG, N-acetyl glucosamine. This is a NAM, N-acetyl muramic acid, right? So one NAG, one NAM, one NAG, one NAM. So many sugars join. They form a polysaccharide chain. Similarly, many more sugars join. Other NAG, NAM units join. They form another polysaccharide chain. This is another polysaccharide chain. This is another polysaccharide chain. Similarly, there may be another polysaccharide chain. By the combination of NAG and NAM, another polysaccharide chain may be formed. Right? So in this way, many polysaccharide chains, one polysaccharide chain, another polysaccharide chain, another polysaccharide chain, another polysaccharide chain, another polysaccharide chain, many polysaccharide chains, they come to lie parallel to each other. They come to lie parallel to each other. Then these polysaccharide chains, they are joined to each other by small tetrapeptides, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tetrapeptide means which has got four amino acids in it. So these tetrapeptides, they join them. These tetrapeptide chains, they join them together. And in this way, a peptidoglycan is formed. Right? So these are tetrapeptide chains. These are small tetrapeptide chains. So these are polysaccharide chains. This is a polysaccharide chain. This is a polysaccharide chain. This is a polysaccharide chain. These are polysaccharide chains. Polysaccharide chains. Right? These polysaccharides, they are joined to each other by small tetrapeptides. They are joined to each other by small tetrapeptides. So in this way, they form peptidoglycan. This becomes the cell wall of prokaryotes. So cell wall of prokaryotes, it is not formed of cellulose. Instead of cellulose, it is formed of some different sugars. What are the main sugars of this peptidoglycan? This peptidoglycan, it is formed of polysaccharides formed of NAG and NAM. NAG is N-acetyl glucosamine, NAM is N-acetyl muramic acid. So these modified sugars, they join, they form one polysaccharide chain, another polysaccharide chain, another polysaccharide chain, many polysaccharide chains are formed. These polysaccharide chains, they come parallel to each other. And they are linked by small peptide chains. Here the peptide chain is formed of 4 amino acids. So we call it as a tetrapeptide. It is only having 4 amino acids in it. 4 amino acids. So we call them as tetrapeptide chains, right? So these tetrapeptide chains, they cross-link the polysaccharide chains. So in this way, they form the peptidoglycan or the cell wall of prokaryotes. In gram-positive prokaryotes, in gram-positive bacteria, this cell wall is further strengthened by deposition of another substance that is known as teichoic acid. In gram-positive bacteria, this cell wall is further strengthened by deposition of teichoic acid. Teichoic acid is only found in the cell wall of gram-positive bacteria, right? So that makes the cell wall thick. So in gram-positive bacteria, this cell wall, this peptidoglycan, it is further strengthened by teichoic acid. This teichoic acid is again a polysaccharide. It is also a polysaccharide. So this polysaccharide is added to the cell wall and it forms the cell wall thick. You know, this cell wall of gram-negative bacteria is thin, just 2 to 8 nanometers in thickness. Cell wall of gram-positive bacteria, it is thick, 20 to 80 nanometers in thickness. So it is because of the thickness of the cell wall that some bacteria get stained and some bacteria do not get stained. You know, there was a scientist, Christian Graham, he developed a staining technique in 1884. This staining technique is known as Graham staining. By this Graham staining, he recognized that, he observed that bacteria are of two types, gram positive and gram negative. So he stained these bacterial cell walls with gentian violet dye or crystal violet dye. He stained the bacteria with a dye, gentian violet or crystal violet. After dyeing, the stain was fixed by placing these slides in 0.5 iodine 0.5% iodine solution. Iodine solution for some time. So dipping the stained slides in iodine solution fixed the stain, right? Then after iodine treatment, the slides were washed with alcohol. Slides were dipped in alcohol. They were given alcohol treatment so that excess stain is removed. So that excess stain is removed. So that any water that is also removed, right? Then after alcohol treatment, he observed these stained slides under his microscope. He found some bacteria. They appeared blue or purple. Those bacteria which appeared blue or purple, he called them as gram positive. Those were gram positive bacteria. And some bacteria did not appear. Then he counterstained the same slide with another dye known as safranin dye. Safranin dye. When the same slide was counterstained with safranin dye, gram negative bacteria, they appeared red or pink. They appeared as red or pink. So those bacteria which appeared red or pink after counterstain, they are gram negative bacteria. They are gram negative bacteria. Those bacteria which appeared blue or purple in color on the first staining, they are gram positive bacteria. So gram negative bacteria, they have got thick cell wall. So they retain the crystal violet or gentian violet stain in their cell wall. So they appeared blue or purple. While as gram negative bacteria, they had thin cell wall. So their cell wall could not retain the stain in the first instance. So they didn't appear. For that reason, the slide was again stained. It was counterstained with safranin dye. When the slide was again stained with a safranin dye, then the gram negative bacteria, they appear red or pink, right? So we now know bacteria, they are of two types on the basis of staining, gram positive and gram negative. So gram positive bacteria are those bacteria which after staining appear blue or purple. And gram negative bacteria are those bacteria which appear red or pink after counter staining. So gram positive bacteria, they have got thick cell wall, and gram negative bacteria, they have got thin cell wall. So that is all about the cell wall of prokaryotes. That is all about the cell wall of prokaryotes. Then inside this cell wall, what is present now? First layer was glycocalyx. Inner to glycocalyx, there is cell wall. Now, inner to cell wall in the cell envelope, what is the third layer? That is the cell membrane. Should I rub this? Should I rub this? Okay. Now the cell membrane. This cell membrane, as you know, we also call it as plasma membrane. Or it is also known as plasma lemma. So cell membrane, it is also known as plasma membrane or plasma lemma. This cell membrane of prokaryotes, it is just like the cell membrane of eukaryotes with some minor differences. With some minor differences. Its basic composition is similar. It is just like the eukaryotic cell membrane. But there are also some differences. So first we will see what are the differences between the cell membrane of prokaryotes and the cell membrane of eukaryotes. If this is a prokaryotic cell, this is the cell membrane. This would be the cell wall. Outside the cell membrane, there would be a cell wall. This would be the cell wall. Outside the cell wall, there is the glycocalyx, which may be in the form of a slime layer or a capsule, right? So this is the outermost covering, glycocalyx, right? Inner to glycocalyx, there is the cell wall. This is the cell wall. This is the cell wall, right? Inner to cell wall, there is cell membrane. There is cell membrane. So they together are known as all the three layers together are known as cell envelope. All the layers together are known as cell envelope, right? So if we look at the cell membrane of prokaryotes, we find that this cell membrane of prokaryotes, it has got many invaginations. It has got many invaginations. Invagination, or we call them as infoldings. Infoldings. So in the cell membrane of prokaryotes, there are many invaginations, or these invaginations are known as infoldings. One of such infolding here is known as mesosome. This is the mesosome. Or it may be in the form of a photosynthetic membrane. Photosynthetic membrane. Right? Or it may be in the form of nitrogen fixation membrane. Nitrogen fixation membrane. So when we compare the cell membrane of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, we find in the cell membrane of prokaryotes, there are many invaginations or infoldings. One infolding is known as mesosome. Attached to this mesosome, this nucleic acid, the genetic material of prokaryotic cell that mostly remains in association with this mesosome. The genetic material of prokaryotic cell mostly remains in association with this mesosome, right? Then we may find in some prokaryotic cells there may be photosynthetic membranes. There may be photosynthetic membranes, or there may be nitrogen fixation membranes. Photosynthetic membranes and nitrogen fixation membranes. They are not found in all prokaryotes. They are not found in all prokaryotes. However, mesosome is almost found in all prokaryotes, right? So the first feature of cell membrane of prokaryotic cell is that it has got many invaginations, and those include mesosome, photosynthetic membranes, or nitrogen fixation membranes. When we look at the cell membrane of eukaryotes, if we look at the cell membrane of eukaryotes, we don't find any invaginations. There are no invaginations. There we don't find these invaginations. In eukaryotic cell, there is no mesosome. In eukaryotic cell, there is no photosynthetic membrane. In eukaryotic cell, there is no nitrogen fixation membrane. So what is the first difference now? What is the first difference between the plasma membrane of prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Plasma membrane of prokaryotes, it has got many invaginations in the form of mesosome, photosynthetic membrane, or nitrogen fixation membrane. In eukaryotic cells, there are no invaginations. Right? There are no invaginations in eukaryotic cells. However, in eukaryotic cells, there may be invaginations. In eukaryotic cells, we may find invaginations. Invaginations means outgrowth. In eukaryotic cell membrane, we may find invaginations, outgrowths, in the form of microvilli. In the form of microvilli. You may have seen an eukaryotic cell with many outgrowths, comb-like outgrowths. These many comb-like outgrowths or finger-like outgrowths, they are known as the microvilli. They are known as the microvilli. So in eukaryotic cell membrane, there may be outgrowths known as microvilli. In prokaryotic cell membrane, there are invagination in the form of mesosome, in the form of photosynthetic membrane, or in the form of nitrogen fixation membrane. So that is the first difference between the cell membrane of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Then there is another difference in the form of chemical composition, right? We will discuss that tomorrow. Now we are running out of time. Our time has ended. So we will discuss further aspects of this plasma membrane tomorrow, inshallah, in the next lecture. So this is sufficient for today. Thank you for being with me. Okay.